Bye-bye, Carolyn Leavitt. A Christmas miracle is upon us, y'all. And I know it's a day late, but this is the news that we all need delivered from the big man sometime away from Caroline Leavitt, the worst press secretary in American history, and the biggest liar in that White House not named. Donald Trump will be taking some time off from propagandizing on behalf of the president, backing billionaires, defending pedophiles, what she always does. And it comes at a time in which Donald Trump is seeing chaos plague his White House, people quitting left and right in the MAGA Congress, and his whole movement turning on him. And now, the latest blonde MAGA sycophant is out and done with Donald Trump. We are going to get into why Caroline Leavitt is going to be taking some sizable time off. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way and supporting our work. Now, before we get into the big announcement that Caroline just made about her future, it's gonna bring a smile to your face if a frown comes upon it, every time you have to hear her lie. But it starts with the ways that Donald Trump is trying to reshape his communications, fix his narrative around Epstein right now that Lawrence O'Donnell had to break down right here.
Therefore, have no credibility at all in anything that they say about the Epstein files. And so when Todd Blanche tells you that something is fake in the Epstein files, like a handwritten letter from Jeffrey Epstein to another pedophile in prison, Todd Blanche should not be able to convince anyone that that letter is fake. There are real reasons to believe it is fake, and there are ways of determining it is fake. But Todd Blanche does not have the credibility necessary to make that case. So all of the assessment of what is and isn't fake in the Epstein files will be made outside of the Trump Justice Department, because the Trump Justice Department is completely corrupted and there to do nothing other than try to defend Donald Trump. Todd Blanche lied today in a written statement about the Epstein files, saying that any of the negative information about Donald Trump in the Epstein files, if true, quote, certainly would have been weaponized against President Trump already. That is a lie. That is Todd Blanche pretending that the Biden Justice Department or the Obama Justice Department were corrupt like the Trump Justice Department. The Epstein files contains a claim by Jeffrey Epstein's brother that he believes, without evidence, that Donald Trump had Jeffrey Epstein killed in prison. The brother offers no evidence of that. There is no evidence of that. And that claim existed in the Epstein files during the Biden presidency. And no one in Merrick Garland's Justice Department ever dreamed of releasing that information. No one weaponized that unfounded claim by Jeffrey Epstein's brother. Since Todd Blanche works in a completely corrupted Justice Department, he knows what he would have done with statements like that about an enemy of Donald Trump's. Marjorie Taylor Greene has seen enough. The Republican member of Congress who built her entire political career on enthusiastic support for Donald Trump, but then lost Donald Trump's support when she demanded the release of the Epstein files, said today, "This is horrifying. Trump called me a traitor for fighting him to release the Epstein files and standing with women who were raped, jailed in stalls, and trafficked to men. Only evil people would hide this and protect those who participated. I pray for these women." Donald Trump tried to hide it. Donald Trump's attorney general tried to hide it. Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer, now his deputy attorney general, tried to hide it. Donald Trump's clownish FBI director tried to hide it. Only evil people would be co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein.
Right now, Donald Trump and his White House are taking over the communications of the DOJ. We have never seen a president take this much control of what should be an independent department. There should be no presidential overreach into the DOJ. Not only is Pam Bondi an appendage of Donald Trump, but he's quite literally operating her like a puppet. With Stephen Chung, or Carolyn Lewis, or Stephen Miller for that matter, pulling the strings and trying to make sure that the DOJ communicates exactly what Donald Trump wants when it comes to the Epstein files. But it's going to get all the much more difficult for Donald Trump to try to push his lies and propagandize when it comes to the issue of Epstein. Because Caroline Leavitt just made a big announcement that is going to be putting her out of the press briefing room. I guess you should be excited for her family given this announcement. I don't know how much she likes her husband, considering the googly eyes that she always makes at Trump. But you should be excited either way, because it means she's going to be taking some time off. Caroline Leavitt announces pregnancy. Closest thing to heaven. White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt announced she's expecting a baby girl in May. The 28-year-old and her husband, Nick, welcomed their first child, a boy named Nico, in July 2024. My husband and I are thrilled to grow our family and can't wait to watch our son become a big brother. Love it, told Fox News Digital. My heart is overflowing with gratitude to God for the blessing of motherhood, which I truly believe is the closest thing to heaven on earth. So Caroline Leavitt is pregnant, and that means we at least get some time away from her. She'll have to step aside from her job. Unfortunately, it seems like that means Stephen Miller will be filling in. I don't know if he's gonna get like the blonde wig and Botox, but we will get a little time away from Caroline Leavitt, and hopefully that becomes a long time. I don't know if this is an opportunity for her to slowly pivot away from this White House, following the, Kayleigh McInnes footsteps and get a job at Fox. But what I'd say to Caroline Leavitt is this, what MAGA preaches all the time, what Charlie Kirk, your best buddy, who you want to build a statue of, would have said to someone like Caroline Leavitt, is you need to leave your job, and you need to raise your kids, and you need to focus on your family. There is no MAGA conservative that the right uplifts, that believes that women should be out in the workforce, especially when they're moms. Erica Kirk certainly doesn't believe so, except in every action she takes in the most hypocritical fashion to abandon her kids as she throws hats into crowds and parades around like a crazy person, staring at you like this for no fucking reason at all. But Caroline Leavitt, if she was following in the footsteps, if she was following in the path that she believed should be laid out for MAGA women, she would be quitting her job as press secretary right now. She never would have taken it on. But what is she doing instead? I don't know. She will at least take some time away from the White House. She will at least have to leave to have the kid. Like, let's be real. She will at least have to give us a week or 2, or 3, hopefully a month, 2 months off. I'm begging for 3. Give me some more time. But this also means, Caroline, you probably shouldn't be injecting as much shit in your face. I know that's gonna come as a huge bummer if that means now you don't want to have the child. 'Cause you value your Botox and your Mar-a-Lago 28-year-old cougar face more than you do your children. I would understand that would track. But seriously, Caroline Leavitt and all of these MAGA women advocate that young girls, you go to college just so you can get married, get that Mrs. degree, or don't even go to school. But focus on makeup and being in a beauty pageant so Donald Trump and his buddies can touch you. I know it's a bad joke, but seriously, what do these fucking people want? They are preying on young girls. It's the theme of the administration by telling them they're simply objects for men later in their life, taking away all their self-worth and using those lies, that vicious rhetoric to elevate them to successful positions in their careers. Erica Kirker made a career, I guess, already partially through her husband, off of telling young girls that they shouldn't want to pursue business. They shouldn't want to pursue anything other than having a family. And sure, having a family is a fantastic thing. And we should want to live in a country in which you can have a kid and work at the same time. Caroline Leavitt is awarded those benefits, as Donald Trump does nothing to allow any other American to do so. They're shoving it in our face and essentially mocking us, saying that this White House is so pro-child. This White House isn't pro-child. Sure, it is to the people in it, but to the rest of America, fuck no. On a normal salary in this country, someone my age cannot start a family. Someone 10 years older than me cannot start a family because the cost of childcare is so damn expensive. And what does Caroline Leavitt have to say about that? Nothing. She just cares about herself. She is a hypocrite in every possible way. But that is the people in this administration. They have stolen from you time and time again, not just through defense contracts or crypto schemes, but making your life worse off as they get shit rich. All that we have seen under Donald Trump's administration is a wealth pull up even more at the top every single day. Billionaires get closer to becoming trillionaires. And what are we left with? Nothing. We don't get the childcare that Carolyn Leavitt is going to have. We don't get anything from this administration. They laugh. They throw their big parties with their seafood towers. And Donald Trump tells us to fuck off. That is this administration. And Caroline Leavitt is a hypocrite. I'm hoping she takes lots of time off from the White House so we don't have to see her. I would be very afraid if Stephen Miller is going to start doing that blonde wig. But then maybe we can arrest him for the drag laws that like Ron DeSantis wants to implement in my unfortunate home state of Florida. Not in Florida. We love Florida. But Ron DeSantis is a fucking asshole and his wife is super weird. And Byron Donalds, if he becomes the governor, is terrible. But it's a sidebar. Carolyn Leavitt, you should be staying at home. I don't advocate that. I think that anyone should be able to do whatever they want. I think we should want to build a country in which you can raise a family and not be subjected. Not subjected if you want to make that decision and you want to be a stay-at-home mom full-time. That is a job in and of itself. A very difficult one. Which is why we should make childcare less expensive. Why? Everyone in the United States, if we care about our kids, and if we're pro-child and pro-life, you should want to make that investment in universal childcare. Maybe like Zoran Mamdani is advocating. But we heard any of that from Mike Johnson. That Caroline Lewis is to talk about how great her childcare is gonna be. How wonderful the White House has been to her as a young mother. And also, at the same time, young mothers shouldn't be in the workplace and they gotta stay home. And you gotta elevate your husband who's for Carolyn Leavitt, like 30 years older than him now. There's anything wrong with that. But it's a little, and if you want to talk about the Christian values that Carolyn Leavitt talks about all the time, want to advocate for those Christian values. Carolyn Leavitt and her husband, they had their kid when they were married. And again, nothing wrong with that. Everyone can make their own lifestyle decisions, but not if you want to lecture us. There's a lot of lecturing from the right. Everyone always complains is coming from the left, that the liberals are wagging their fingers and they're telling you what to do. But Carolyn Leavitt is saying to young girls, stay at home, get pregnant, be barefoot, make sourdough bread. It's the same thing that Erica Kirky does, that Candace Owens does, that Megyn Kelly does. And all these people are hugely successful in their careers, and their careers are lying and bullshitting and propagandizing on behalf of pedophiles and billionaires. Which, there's a lot of crossover there, by the way. But then they want to tell us what to do. And then they want to have their careers. And they get to have it all. But we get to have scraps. Not even scraps. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. I want to say once again, as I put the Santa hat on, I was so grateful to have spent a little time in y'all's homes yesterday. If you tuned into the show, we have had such an incredible year that I'm so grateful for. We have big things coming in 2026. We have a big midterms coming in 2026. We gotta be working every single day. I am so proud that I get to do this job. I am so grateful this community that we have. Y'all are amazing. We are going to kick ass. We are going to mock Carolyn Leavitt. We are going to beat back these fascists. And I cannot wait to continue doing this together. Until next time. I'll see you soon.